Good evening. This is David Lynn, and you're with me for a Saturday episode of Coffee Talk, number 547 live stream, 7 p.m., Saturday, January the 10th, 2026. Uncle Al, Ty Bullfrog 79. How are you doing, sir? Thank you for coming. Been working on my notes, trying to get ready for this live stream. Enjoying myself. Hello, Melinda Elliott. How you doing? Well, I I worked on the subscriber giveaway a little bit today. I know who's going to be in the drawing, and both of y'all will be in the drawing. Melinda, Uncle Al, you guys will both be in the drawing for the next goodie box. There's actually going to be 9 of you that qualified. 9. That's an old term, groovy. Uncle Al, I think it's won a couple of times. I mean, I can't remember. I'd have to go look it up. My mind isn't what it used to be. Was able to hop in directly tonight. Wonderful. Wonderful. Dave, aka Yoda, who definitely has a blessed life. God bless you, sir. 5 in the house, 2 likes. Please leave a like to support the channel. It will be greatly appreciated. Oh, I made pork ribs this evening, and with rice and beans. Just got through eating. A lot of stuff going on in the news. I got a lot of good topics from Uncle Al. I'm not going to get through all of them tonight. There'll be some for tomorrow. I may not get through all of them tomorrow, but I'm going to hit 6 or 7 of them pretty hard today. And we'll get started with those in a few minutes when a few more people come in. 6 in the house, 3 likes. Please leave a like to support the channel. It'll be greatly appreciated. Now the other thing, I'm going to use a Haas knife, Haas. It's Haus, Haas. And I'm going to open a couple of packages. Do you carry a knife? You should be. A box. Check to see if anybody else has snuck in. Okay, where are we? Well, come on now. Trying to put these things up, it's like trying to pull teeth. Well, this in a small box. What is this? It's a spare. It's going to go in the box and I'll be sending out to the 2,200 subscriber giveaway winner. An emergency stove. Miss Anne Marie Angel, how you doing? You know, it's probably 1 o'clock in the morning over in the UK right now. And I truly appreciate you coming in to be supportive. God bless you, young lady. Checking to see who else here. And Dave, you're on the list too. You're one of the 9 that qualify. One of the 9. Been raining cats and dogs here today. We got a little bit of rain, a little bit of rain. A little bit of rain. Another package. We are opening. Again, use the knife. And what do we have behind door number 2? Oh, another one. A folding stove. Another one. The last of the stuff I need to order for the giveaway. I don't want to give my originals away. I get extras. So these are 2 different stoves. One of them burns fuel tabs, and the other one you'll use like, you can use camp heat, or you can use sterno. These are stoves. They're going to be in the box. They will be in the box. 35 degrees tonight. Oh, it's in the 50s here. An unboxing and unbagging, yeah. And I am drinking Fiji water. I don't know. Hell, it's expensive, but it tastes okay. You know, my daughter likes it. Just regular Fiji water. I haven't been drinking sodas. I had 3 cups of coffee today. Nescafe. Little sachets. And I'm glad you feel safe. Anne Marie, I'm old. I'm 63 years old. I am a retired educator. I've been a principal. I've been a director. I've been an assistant principal. You know, you start out teaching and then you move up into assistant principal. And then I became a principal. And then I became a director. And then I went back to being an assistant principal because I moved from one city to another. And then I was a principal again. And then I was a principal, moved from a city to a town as a principal. And I retired. And then for the last 3 years, including this year as one of the three, I came back teaching. You know, so that's what I do. And then this is my hobby. I enjoy it. I have a faithful following, and they're not always here. And I was looking, I was looking at the list of people who had got a pretty good list. The only thing is that there were only 9 of them that had left comments on all 5 videos. And the rules for my giveaways are you have to leave me a like and a supportive comment on each of the last 5 videos I will have released. And I've released those 5. And I figured it out, and it started out 21. So this last video that I released, there are 21 different people who commented on it. You go back to the previous one, there were 14 people who commented on it, and it reduces your numbers. And then you go back to the third one, and there are 12 people. And then the last 2, which are videos 4 and 5, the 5th one back would be the Blue Eddy Power Station video. Both of those had 9 people who commented. And and you're like, well, it looked like there's a lot of, there were a lot of comments by the same people. Like Pat Bethia. There's one of those videos, she left me like 6 or 7 comments on one video, which I'm happy for. I'm happy that she did it. But that's not 6 or 7 different people. That's one person leaving a bunch of comments. And she wasn't the only one that did that. Other people leave multiple comments. So that's where I'm at that. Oh, well, Dave, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I appreciate you, friend. It is what it is. It is what it is. So we are 13 minutes into the live stream, and it is a Saturday evening. I am enjoying myself. I cooked a real nice breakfast. I had a taco myself. I made a plate for my wife. She had grits with her eggs, and I cut up some strawberries for her and a couple of slices of bacon. And it was a very nice little breakfast for her. And I had a low carb tortilla with a couple of eggs, some cheese, and a jalapeno I cut up. I didn't put any bacon on mine. Well, thank you for watching with both eyes. That's very appreciative. Well, you pay about $1, like this Fiji water. You pay about $1 a bottle for this stuff. Actually, I paid about $7 for a 6-pack, so it's over $1 a bottle. Well, I tell you, yeah, I liked that one. I really did. I really scored on that one. The last, well, the current one has got 500, 600 views, and the last 2 or 3 before that have about over. One of them had 1,200 views, one of them had 1,100 views, and the other one had 1,000 views. So in the last 48 hours, I've got, well, I average. I'm nowhere near like what Dave gets. I mean, he gets tens of thousands of views, but in the last 28 days, I've averaged about 2,000 views a day. And honestly, that's good for me considering the amount of stuff that I post. Now there are people, I'm pretty sure Dave probably has gotten that kind of, those kind of views in a couple of days, and it takes me, you talk about getting 50,000 views or whatever, however many 50 some odd thousand views that I got this last month, and he'll get that many views in a day sometimes, but he's got a lot more. He's got like 43,000 subscribers right now. Hey Pat, thank you for coming in. Appreciate you. Thank you for all your comments. I really appreciate all your comments that you've made. Do appreciate you. I have not seen Enrique this evening. Has he made any comments? I do not know. I have not seen him. Please leave a like to support the channel. It will be greatly appreciated, everybody. In the meantime, let's get into some topics. So, I guess everybody heard about the attack on the vice president's residency over the holidays. Now, when the president or the vice president, when they are, certain people, when they are away from their, from the White House or from their estate, their official estate, or when they're at their official estate, there's Secret Service at both residences. So, when the vice president, his wife, and the kids, they're in Washington, they're home back in their home state where they're at, there is security watching, securing their residency. Same thing like with Mar-a-Lago. There are Secret Service at Mar-a-Lago when the president is in Washington. So the first topic was during the holidays, the vice president was attacked by a crazed transgender Democrat who was arrested. Now, there were some other people involved, I understand, but they got one of them, and they're releasing information on this one individual. Reported by CNN, ABC, CBS, NBC, MSN, and Sky News. The attacker's father reportedly is a big-time Democrat supporter and donor. And search for others is continuing. The individual who did this is not talking who was involved with him. Not saying who was involved with him. Hello, Gary. How are you doing? Hello, Rachel. Hey, KP. Mama for boys. KP Heathen. And Gary, my friend from the UK, whose partner, Miss Anne Marie Angel, has been on. I tell you what, if you like to watch people make puzzles, Anne Marie really makes some puzzles. They also like to do that Wheel of Fortune. They got a Wheel of Fortune game that they like to play and, figure out what the what's the topics are, trying to figure out, identify the topics. And they're pretty good at it. Gary is pretty good at figuring that one out. So, as I was saying before y'all came in, I did research who's going to be in the drawing. As I explained, I looked at the last video I had released, and there were 21 different people who had left comments. And I backtracked four videos. So after I got all the names down on that one, I started looking back through four back to identify who had left comments on all five. And I came up with 9 names. I'll look it over again to make sure that I didn't miss anybody. There were some people who left comments on 4 videos, and there were some people who left comments on 3 videos. And I want to make sure, like for those 4 video people, I did not, overlook something. Or did they make a comment that's showing up on somebody else's comment? I got to go back through and I got to look at some of that, the responses. But as it is, hello, Walter Davis. Thank you for coming. Walter's another good man, got a good channel. He's up in Pennsylvania. He's a busy man. I appreciate him. He comments on some of my videos. His name is on my list. Didn't do all 5, but he did. Oh, you're in New Jersey now. Okay. What do you think about your blue wave up in New Jersey? Your blue governor that got elected. They're calling it a blue wave. Let's see now. A state that votes predominantly blue elects a blue governor, and they're calling it a blue wave? How has my wife been doing? She's doing better. She's not feeling that well today, but she's doing better. She has a few chronic health. I have a few chronic health issues. I got to watch my blood sugar. I take blood pressure medication. I take medication for cholesterol. Blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, arthritis. It is what it is. Yeah, it was expected. It was expected, but the way that they're trying to portray it in the liberal media is that, it was a blue wave, it's going to be a blue wave and all this. Another thing, well, thank you, I appreciate prayers. Another thing that, I laugh about, 9 in the house and 9 likes. Please leave a like to support the channel. Is now they've got a blue mega hat for 2028. So you got the red mega hat. Now you got a blue mega hat for the Democrats. The Democrats have got a blue mega hat. You can't make this up. What do you think about that one, Uncle Al? A blue mega hat. Is that a good one or what? And I'm sorry, I'm filing right now. I'm filing nails. Yeah, I'd say losers. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Somebody had told me about it, and they said, "You going to get yourself a blue mega hat? A blue mega hat? Yeah, the Democrats going to have their own mega hat, blue mega hat for 2028." Oh, really? Well, that's a good one. That gave me a laugh. So we start out with the attack we start out with the attack on the vice president, his home. Next topic, rival factions are battling for control of Venezuela. You know, they went and got Maduro. Special forces operators went in and they got Maduro. And in the process, my understanding is they killed a bunch of Cubans because he apparently was using Cuban security, and he had some Cubans in there working for him. And when they went in, they hit the military facilities and they struck some stuff. They killed a bunch of Cubans. All the Cubans are crying and they're mad and everything. No, well, they had no business being in there, but they were, and they took out Cuban security and such when they went in and they got him. So rival factions are battling for control of Venezuela. This is reported by CNN, Sky News, ABC, NBC, CBS, MSN, and Fox News, all the regular suspects. Gunfire erupts in the capital streets. Chaos after Maduro captured by U.S. forces, slowly transforming Venezuela's regime into a democracy. Well, hopefully. Disarmed the street gangs and cartel forces in the weeks ahead. Well, we'll see what happens. But that's the Chinese equipment failed. Yeah, that's about right. Chinese equipment. All right, here's another one. Topic 114. U.S. ships $3 billion in gold and oil from Venezuela and returning to a free market, ending nationalized price controls and government control of food markets. Reported by CNN, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox News. So as the socialists / communists are in chaos and losing control, you have free markets trying to come back in and trying to assert. They import most of their food. Most of the revenue has come from oil. That's where they get most of their revenues, from oil, and they have to have like 80% of their food imported. So there you are there. Chinese Temu defenses did as expected. Yeah, that figures. Topic 115. Reported by CNN, ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, and Sky News Australia. Desperate Democratic Party replaces finding a replacement running for governor of Minnesota and California. They've got unlikable candidates. The governor, Walz, is not running for re-election. He said he's not going to run for re-election. Steve Steyer will be running in California. I think he's a former athlete, professional athlete. And Senator Amy Klobuchar will be running for governor, and Republican will be running for governor of Minnesota. Maduro hardliners are holding civilians hostage, most women and children. Huh. Damn. Something did not, as expected, rifled the air without being seen. Chinese defenses did as expected, didn't work. Yeah, I can imagine. They do have some issues. Oh, Amy's a Democrat. Okay. So Amy Klobuchar is a Democratic senator. I don't know all these senators. Amy Klobuchar is a Democrat senator who's going to be running for governor. And I don't know who the Republican will then be. Here's another one. Reported by CNN, CBS, ABC, Fox, MSN, NBC, The Washington Post, and New York Times. The rise of independent journalism challenges the mainstream and corporate media, exposing the truth and lies by the mass media. See CBS and CNN during Somali fraud and media cover-up. Yeah, they will portray something, the corporate media. I mean, the truth is not necessarily what you're going to get. You know, you're going to get their talking points from whatever position they're told this is the position that you take, their party aligned position. That's what you get. You don't necessarily get the truth. You don't normally get the truth. Topic number 117. Reported by NBC, CBS, ABC, Sky News, Fox News, MSN, CNN. The Trump administration deployed 2,000 federal agents to Minnesota over Somali fraud and corruption. The Democratic Party admits daycare fraud is real and media cover-up. And they're talking about sending in more. That is true. They got an agenda. You don't necessarily get the facts. Topic number 118. Reported by independent media. Oh, this is a good one. So, Hilton, the hotel chain, big corporation, Hilton nuked the franchise by banning federal employees. The Hilton Corporation has a contract with the federal government for federal employees to use the facilities. You know, they go and they go to trainings, or they have jobs that they do. They have stuff that they work certain places. They're away from their homes, and they've got a contract with Hilton that federal employees are able to stay there at a certain rate. Government pays for it. And this was a liberal, progressive hotel franchise. It refused and bars Department of Homeland Security, the IRS, and the DOJ employees, Department of Justice employees. Hilton made a statement that the problem was solved, but they literally lied. After Nick Sorter video proves otherwise. The hotel lied. The Hilton family stepped in to prevent losing the government contract. The CEO is on leave. The CEO who pulled this crap, they've got him on leave. The hotel franchise has been removed from Hilton Corporation. An official apology to the federal employees. Decisions that are made sometimes, That's just like, Disney and all the woke crap that Disney has done. Their value of their shares of their stock went way down. They've lost billions of dollars because it's the stupidity. I mean, some of the movies that they've decided to make, some of the woke crap that they're doing, people don't want to watch it. They're doing some of these woke remakes of classics, not making any money, not making any profit, spending hundreds of millions of dollars, and they barely break even if they do. You know, it's just stupidity. Go woke, go broke. McDonald's 6 franchises got nuked in Minnesota. They did the same. Disney stocks 110. Well, they used to be over $200 a share. They lost about half their value. You know, think about that. Take a minute and think about that. That to me is ultimate stupidity. I go back to when Sarah Huckabee Sanders was press secretary. She was press secretary, I think, in the first Trump administration for a little while. And she went with her family, I guess her husband and her kids and, a couple other relatives. They went to eat in a suburb of D.C., little tourist community. And they went into this restaurant to go eat, and they seated them, and they got their drinks, and they were getting ready to order, and they figured out the employees figured out who she was. Got all these little woke employees, and they called the manager, the owner, and told the owner, "Hey, we don't feel safe. We don't want her in here." And the owner came over and handled it and basically said, "I'm sorry, but you're going to have to leave." So Sarah Huckabee Sanders tweeted, she had a pretty good following, and she tweeted that she'd been asked to leave a restaurant because the owners, the establishment, did not want her there. Well, that caused an SHIT storm. You had so many people raising unholy hell about it. And I mean, giving the place bad reviews, boycotting it, refusing to go in, boycotting the whole town, little tourist community, all their stores. And I mean, got a lot of bad press and lost a lot of business. Well, that particular restaurant, and Uncle Al said it's the Red Barn restaurant, closed and bankrupt. Yeah, they had to close down. I have said repeatedly, if you're in business to provide a service, make money, your business is to provide that service and make money. It's not to say, "Oh, well, I don't want to serve, half the population," because really, you do that. That's a good chunk of your potential customers. Now, truth be told, I would rather offend Democrat customers than Republican customers if I was going to, and I wouldn't want to offend any customer. But if I had to pick and choose between the Democrats and the Republicans are going to spend a lot more money than the Democrats are. The Democrats predominantly are a bunch of, people that basically live off the government. A lot of them, a good chunk of them, they don't have the same level of income. Now, yeah, there are rich Democrats, and there are working class Democrats, and there are upper middle class Democrats. But when it comes to percentages of the population, the majority of that is basically conservative, the Republicans. So if I was going to have to pick and choose who I would offend, it certainly wouldn't be the Republicans. Not that I would want to offend any. If I was running a business or a restaurant, I wouldn't want to offend anybody, whether they were Democrats or Republicans or independents or whoever the hell they are. I'm in business to try to make money and to provide a service. I don't care. If they're not causing trouble, leave them alone. You know, that's just the way it is. If they're not causing trouble, why kick the hornet's nest? You don't do it. You don't do it. And truthfully, that's just, I don't know. To me, that's common sense. But a lot of these people, they don't have common sense. So that place got boycotted so badly, and it got such bad press that they literally had to shut down. I mean, they had the city council, they had they had other business owners. Everybody was really upset with that the owner of that restaurant, and that they basically shut down, went out of business. All those little woke employees that didn't like Sarah Huckabee Sanders got fired. They got let go. Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Well, they're still trying to screw up in New York. They're still trying to screw with Trump and his business organization. They're still trying. They took away. He had some franchises. He had some public. He was running some public facilities and such, and the city took all that away from him. They took his rights to operate away from him. You know, and they debanked Trump and his family. They debanked them. Banks would not do business with them. They could not get certain banks and certain organizations. They would not do business with them. Here you have a man who's a billionaire, who owns a lot of expensive properties, uh, golf courses, uh, high rises, uh, and he can't he can't bank and do business because the former administration was telling them not to do business with him. I mean, really, the Biden administration reportedly pressuring financial institutions, the Biden DOJ, the Biden, uh, they were pressuring organizations not to do business with him and other conservatives, not just Trump, but other conservatives. Top G Network, how are you doing? Please leave a like to support the channel. If you have not done so, it will be greatly appreciated. Well, I'm sorry, Walter. I am sorry about that. Um, Topic number 119. Trump launches an assault on a Russian flag tanker, confiscating the oil, as reported by social media, X, CNN, ABC, MSN, NBC, and Fox News. Trump, quote, 15% of high crude oil will be sent to the U.S., 30 to 50 million gallons. Trump will control funds and production of the Venezuelan oil fields, which will repair and upgrade Venezuelan oil economy. Yep, CNN tends to be fake news. The truth. Another topic. 120. Reported by Sky News, ABC, CNN, CBS, NBC, MSN, and Fox News. Trump may use military forces on Greenland to protect polar Arctic region. EU threatens the U.S. Trump offers Denmark a financial incentive for Greenland. Trump warned China, Canada, and Mexico to play nice. Well, you know, there are a lot of people that are happy about Maduro being out. A lot of people who are happy. There are a lot of Venezuelans in the United States that are celebrating, cheering for what the United States did. You don't hear about that from the liberal media, though. There are a lot of people in Venezuela who are very happy about Maduro being gone. You don't hear that about that from the liberal media, truth be told. Yeah, that's what they're saying. They better play nice. Take care, Pat. God bless you. Appreciate you coming in. Topic number 121. The biggest myth that the CCP Red China had defeated the Japanese army in China. That would be BS. The Nationalist Chinese Army forces won World War II. During the Chinese Civil War, after World War II, Soviet forces donated captured Japanese weapons to Chinese communist forces from Manchuria and Korea, from their arsenals there. Over 1 million rifles and ammunition backed the Chinese communist forces. They outnumbered the nationalist forces 12-1. Every peasant they could get their hands on. The nationalists, weakened by 10 years of fighting, because they had been fighting the Japanese, and they'd also been fighting Chinese communists. They were driven over to Taiwan. So the nationalists went over to Taiwan. Their forces and such, they evacuated mainland China and went to Taiwan. Well, you know, it is true the USA uh, had been fighting the Japanese. Japanese occupied a good chunk of China. And, you know, the U.S. largely defeated, you know, in China. Yeah, it was U.S. defeated the Japanese. And the Japanese basically fell apart. They're just worn out. Truth. They were worn out. You know, it is what it is. And, you know, the circumstances of what happened and everything. That's true. So going back to where I was at previously, I got my list. 9 channels qualify for my drawing. I have everything I need to put in the box. And I will, hopefully tomorrow, if I can, do my drawing, my video, put it together. I may or may not get it uploaded, but I hope to get that done. And at sometime this week, I hope to get the box out. And again, I will do a 2,300 subscriber giveaway. But in order to qualify for that, rules are very simple. On my long form videos, leave a like and a supportive comment on each of the last 5 I will have released. So let's just, as an example, say something happened and I woke up tomorrow with 2,300 subscribers. I mean, it just blew up on me. I pulled a Yoda and I picked up over 100 subscribers in a day. I would look at those same 5 videos that I just looked at and redo the counts. Did anybody else qualify? Did anybody who wasn't qualified before leave a like and a supportive comment on the last 1 or 2 videos they hadn't watched? Maybe I will have released 2 or 3 more videos. And then the last 5 will be the last 5. You know. Right now, number 5 on the last 5 is my Blue Eddy unboxing video. Power Station. That's the number 5. And, you know. So that's where we're at on that. That's where we're at. And I look forward to being able to, Dave, who looks at all the demographics and he looks at all the various information, you know, on channels and various things he's interested in. He's told me that I should be at about 2,500 subscribers by Easter. I said, that would require me to grow 100 a month, basically. I'd have to grow right at 100 a month. And yeah, I grew over 100 this last month. But that's something that was unusual because I hadn't been growing at that kind of rate for a long time. And I really don't think that will necessarily be sustained. So I don't know that I'll pick up that, you know, that kind of, but I mean, I will pick up more subscribers and I will have more subscriber giveaways. But if more of you want to be involved, and probably most of the people in here right now probably are. Last 2 months I grew 160, maybe. Uncle Al's approaching 2,700. And he stays about 500 ahead of me. Right now, he's a little less than 500 ahead of me, but he stays about 500 ahead of me. Dave, back in the day before his channel blew up, I used to stay about 100 or 200 ahead of him. And then when my wife had her last major surgery, I went for several, this is like a little less than a year and a half ago. I went for several months without doing anything on my channel. So then his channel continued to grow, and he picked it up, and he was a couple of hundred ahead of me. And he was staying a couple of hundred ahead of me, and then he did like a format change, and all of a sudden his channel just blew up. He just blew up. So, I mean, I give him nothing but props, because he's probably picked up 40,000 subscribers in the last year or so. You know. You know. And that's where it's at, and that's where I'm at. I wish I had more people that I could put in the drawing, but like I said, and Enrique's not here, but he qualifies twice for both of his channels, Dad's Advice for You and UnKL. I didn't see him leaving comments today. Sometimes he'll go back through and he'll watch something after the fact, like if he's not available. Saturday evening, he's probably doing something. But he's very good about going in and watching and leaving comments. And a lot of times he'll hit the stamp, the little time stamp that shows he watched the whole thing. Uncle Al's real good about that too. And Dave started doing that. A lot of times when I watch videos of people, I'll watch the whole thing, and then I'll hit that timestamp that shows I watched the whole thing. Oh, football night? Okay. Maybe somebody's watching a football game. I used to be real big into football, and I'm not. Ever since they had all that crap, where they were kneeling and, that stuff, I mean, that really turned it off for me. That guy, I think his name was Copernic or whatever. These people taking a knee during the anthem and everything, and as a protest, that turned it off for me when they started doing that crap. 43,049. Well, you go, Uncle Al, or you go, Yoda. You're awesome. I'm still sitting at 2202. 2202. A light ban. Oh, please. That's BS. They didn't ban you. You grow like a weed. I'm the one that I think that they're shadow banning, or that they don't like my content. They don't like Uncle Al's content. When it's so hard for a person to come into my live stream, or when they get notifications that, are you sure you want to do this? They get like the black screen with the print on it. So, are you sure you want to do this? The content, is, you sure you want to look at this content? Yeah. Broke and unemployed. Yeah. He deserves to be. He deserves to be. Where is the timestamp? I watched completely. Over at the right-hand side where you make a comment, the line you make a comment, there should be a little blue box there. And it'll have like a little time indicator on it, like it'll have a little time indicator. You press that, but you got to do it right when the video ends, because if you wait 2 or 3 minutes, you can't do that function. You can still leave a comment, but it won't let you timestamp it. You got to do it right when it's getting ready to end, or right after it ends, because then it transitions and it won't let you timestamp it. Yeah, he was. And, you know, he was one of these, he was part black, he was part white. He had parent issues and race issues. And, you know, same thing with Obama. Obama's mother was white and father was black, and he was all jacked up, you know, with his, you know, what he believed, and, you know, and all this crap. And he was basically raised by his white grandmother in Hawaii. May she rest in peace. You know, used to call him Barry. Um, yeah, yeah. So anyway, I appreciate it, guys. I will plan on being back tomorrow, hopefully 7 p.m. for a Sunday edition of Coffee Talk. I'll have some more topics. Uncle Al gave me a bunch of topics, and I just need to, you know, load them up, and we'll talk about those tomorrow. When you get up in the morning, drink your coffee, take your medication, thank God for the day. You don't know how many days you have, they're numbered. Say the Lord's Prayer, and treat people the way you want to be treated. Watch your back. And everybody have a blessed day, and hopefully we'll see you again tomorrow for another edition of Coffee Talk. Enjoyed it. Really did. Thank you.